First, I'm 31 male, the middle child of 3. I have 2 brothers, one younger, 25 male, and one older, 38 male. My brothers and I have never been close, and I was often overlooked by my parents and most relatives compared to them. Not really relevant to the story, but just to draw a picture. About 3 years ago, I was approached by my parents and older brother for a loan to help him pay rent. Me and my sibling have never been close, and after moving out around 2015, I was already pretty distant with them by that point, due to many years of BS, but that's an entire series of stories. However, I was led to believe my brother was in a really bad financial situation and that he wasn't able to afford his rent. Back then, I knew he recently got back to pursue an academic degree while still working a crappy job, so it made sense. I agreed to give them the money, but made it clear it was a loan. I will need that money back. All 3 agreed, and my parents even said that they will pay me back in a few weeks. They both had high-paying jobs, so I didn't have any reason to be suspicious. So I wrote my brother a check, stating that the very specific amount of money was to help paying for 3 months of rent, about $2,500 USD. A few weeks go by. I decided to just be patient and considerate towards my brother, knowing his financial situation wasn't the best. However, a few weeks became a month, and then 2, yet there's no word from my brother nor parents. I reached out but was told to be patient, and my mom even had the audacity to call me a psycho. It's a common thing she did whenever she was being confronted by people. Being relatively clueless about legal stuff back then, I gave up and decided to move on. However, a couple of weeks later, I get contacted by one of my cousins telling me how amazing I was for paying for my brother's vacation with cousin's sister. She told me they've been planning on going for months, and he was the only one who had trouble affording a ticket. Here's how the conversation went. Me, C, cousin, OB, older brother, CS, cousin, sister. Me, C, what trip? C, they've been planning on going abroad for months now, but OB was the only one who couldn't afford it. Me, wait, what? C, he didn't tell you? Me, he told me he needed money to cover rent. C, I don't understand. I then told her I had to go, so that's where the convo ended. Next, I immediately called my brother up, demanding to know what was going on. He basically laughed in my face and thanked me for paying for his vacation. When I told him that I want him to pay me back, he then told me to go duck myself before blocking my number as well as on Facebook. I was furious. Next day at work, I decided to ask around friends in our legal team. They referred me to a really good lawyer who even agreed to represent me for a lower price than what he usually charges. I asked him to wait because I needed to compile a few things first. First, I gathered all phone recordings, screenshots of every text concerning the loan and what it was intended for, pictures from his trip, had his girlfriend, she didn't go on the trip, email me the receipts of both hotel room and plane ticket, as well as texts from him regarding how much spending money he left with, getting a written statement from his landlord that OB never had troubles paying rent. Note: girlfriend had no idea what was going on, but we get along quite well, so she agreed on helping. In my country, it is legal to record people in phone calls, as long as you are part of the conversation. I decided to give my brother one final chance before taking him to court. I then texted my dad, remember, OB has me blocked, asking him to have my brother call me and pay back the loan, otherwise I'm taking him to court. Dad got nervous and handed the phone to my mom, who flipped out after I told her what I'm planning on doing. She stuck to the psycho marks, as well as going for the "but we're a family" shtick, as well as "can't you just do one thing for your brother?" and "when did your brother ever ask you for anything?" Which is when I ran through the oh-so-long list in my head of when my brother did ask, demanded, and took me for things. I finished the call telling them OB better contact me today and hung up. Not even an hour later, my brother calls me screaming, calling me every name in the book, threatening to beat me up, to sue me for harassing his girlfriend, stalking him, and so on and so on. I once again told him to pay me back for everything, otherwise I'll be seeing him in court. OB told me to go duck myself and watch my back before he hung up. Yes, this call has been recorded also. After a few weeks, we meet up in court. My brother's lawyer attempts a dismissal, all while he, along with my brother, are trying to portray me as only doing this for attention. I get questioned by both lawyers. Evidence were presented. The judge looks less and less happy with my family. Mom keeps telling me how ashamed I should be for doing this to my family, blah, blah, blah. The judge ruled in my favor, as my brother not only had no evidence, but had also lied in his testimony. I was to be paid the full amount of the check, as well as court fees. After that, I've went no contact with both my parents and older brother, changing my phone number and address. Me and my younger brother still talk, but have a very minimal contact. Most of my relatives took my parents' side, saying I shouldn't have taken them to court and it was cruel. My grandparents on both sides, to my surprise, said I've done the right thing, as well as my mom's sister, my favorite aunt, have also taken my side. I haven't spoken to any of them in over 3 years. Mom and Dad have tried contacting me before I switched numbers, but it's never to apologize, other than guilt-tripping me about the whole thing. Did he ever pay you back and the court fees? If so, cut him and your parents off. He paid back every last dime, loan plus court fees. Oh, I've learned my lesson, and even before that whole incident, I've always documented as much as I could, if not everything. I have trouble trusting people, so I always do my best to keep a paper trail. I've cut all contact with my parents. I was very strict with the remaining family members I do speak to regarding giving away my new phone number. Some backstory. My two brothers have always been naturally skinny and maintained an active lifestyle through most of their life. Me, 31 male, on the other hand, was born on the pudgier side and never really had an interest in sports other than swimming, but didn't get, nor want at the time, to work on that hobby. By the time I was in the Army, service is mandatory where I live, I was quite heavy at 246 pounds. While I was never teased about my weight, my family, and especially my mother, enjoyed poking fun at it, my eating habits and so on. Mom rolling her eyes whenever someone commented I've lost weight and so on. Since she was, and still is, quite the blob herself, I just ignored her or commented as such. But being stationed in a faraway base where combat unites, we're also serving at, most of the guys in my base were quite fit. Me, on the other hand, wasn't assigned a combative role due to a medical condition. No, I didn't have to do anything about weight, but a very minor birth defect that I was rid of by the time I was 12. But the Army is stupid like that, so they don't want to take any chances to put me in harm's way. So instead of putting me in a combative role, they decided to have me on the oh-so-safe field of heavy-duty machinery. Genius. Anyways, again, most of the men serving in my unit were very fit and very muscular, and where I was never jealous of them, nor teased for being fat. One day, I just took a good look in the mirror and was like, I can do better. And so I decided to start and change things. I'd watch very carefully what I ate, drank mostly water, joined the boys on their evening jogs, convinced my sergeant friend to get me an access to their gym and have him train me in Krav Maga a few times a week if he was able to. I kept on to what I was doing and was very strict at keeping at it until I've reached my target weight, and soon enough, I had to pay a visit to the quartermasters and get a smaller-sized uniform. After a year and a half of regular exercise, weightlifting, and a healthy diet, I lost a lot of weight, a few pounds shy of the target, and built quite a lot of muscle mass. In all honesty, it was my sergeant friend who convinced me to visit. Officially, it was exclusive to the combat unit, but in reality was available for everyone on base, their gym, and encouraged me to lose weight. Man, I am glad I listened. While I was very proud of the progress, I've met my family, who have teased me about my big fat butt for most of my life. Weren't as happy as I was, but said nothing. The teasing has stopped, but there wasn't much beyond that. Other than a semi-compliment like, "Did you take this shirt from one of your brothers?" whenever I wore something that actually fit me. Or, "Why are you still wearing this huge thing?" if I kept clothing from the time I was bigger. I still got comments during meals if I took an extra scoop, but whatever, I didn't care. I didn't lose weight to get compliments. Okay, maybe I did just a little bit. Moving on. By the time I turned 22, I was back into civilian life as well as working myself through university, and also a part-time job. Also, during that time, I have saved enough to afford a membership at a gym close to campus. They were on the more pricey side, but that's due to the location being more high-end. While I was being the healthiest and most physically fit I've ever been in my entire life, my older brother wasn't faring as much. He had stopped jogging, his smoking got worse, and was getting chubbier every day. He's still not obese by any chance, but he's not nearly as fit as he used to be, and he's only in his late 30s. It only got worse on family gatherings, especially weddings, where a lot of distant relatives and those we don't meet too often would also be present. Also, I'm a massive introvert, so fully packed events are not my thing, so I'd often avoid those and barely even met with my extended family during my service. So you can imagine some of my relatives' shock seeing me over 100 lighter. Some didn't even recognize me. I guess my brother got some comments from people because he'd no longer look smug whenever he looked at me. About 8 months ago into my relationship there, my mom sat me down. I was still living at home. And the conversation went as follows. Me equals me. BM equals the womb I came out of. OB equals older bollocks. Me, what's up? Is everything okay? BM, everything is fine, honey, but I just wanted to talk to you about something. Me, okay. I already had a bad feeling. These conversations always seem to be about me doing something wrong. BM, well, you know your father and I are very proud of how far you've come. You're looking very handsome. Me, thanks, Mom. A very rare compliment. BM, but me and your dad are still worried. With all the expenses we have along with your tuition and not your gym membership, we're getting a little tight. Can you cancel your membership, please? We can no longer afford it. Me, thinking, okay, here we go. Mom, you guys don't pay for my gym membership. I do. BM, and who gave you that money? Me, it's money I've saved from birthdays, allowance, from way back when, and work. Also, I'm on a scholarship, so you do know you guys aren't paying for school either, right? BM, getting frustrated. Well, you can't go to the gym anymore. Me, and why is that? BM, because she and Dad, think your OB should use it instead. He really wants to go to that gym, but he can't afford it. It really depresses him. Don't you think it's mean of you to keep going there while he cannot? Me, Mom, be real. OB makes twice the money I make, so he can afford a gym membership on his own. That said, the gym isn't located anywhere near his apartment. BM, that doesn't matter. We decided that you can't go anymore. It's not fair towards OB. You're going to cancel your membership and that's final. Me, no. BM, well, I will be giving them a call, son, and cancel it for you. Impossible, unless she can imitate my voice and had my credit card. Stop being selfish and be more fair towards your brother. Me, right. BM, why can't you just do this one thing for your brother? It's bad enough he stopped, he quit jogging. Now he's smoking and you're not helping with what you're doing. Come on, my name. Be more considerate. Also, think about your father. Me, Dad has a problem with me working out too? BM, you know he can barely move with his bad back. Me, Mom, Dad can move just fine. Just yesterday I helped him clear out the garage. BM, you're not being fair, my name. Me, holding on to my last nerve. Mom, I'm not going to stop working out because some 30-plus man baby hates seeing me getting healthier while he tries tucking his beer gut. If my looser genes affect OB so much, he can get up and do something about it. Funny how you've never said anything to either of my brothers to tone it down while I was fat. BM, how dare you say that about your brother? At that point, I just got up and went on my business, while she sulked and gave me the cold shoulder for the rest of the day. However, at mealtimes, she'd try to get me to eat more, a lot more, or cook very fatty things, but only sugar-packed drinks, bring up fast food places whenever we went eating out, and then got mad at me whenever I said that McDonald's is not a restaurant. Whatever she tried to do didn't work, and I soon began buying my type of soft drinks myself, or just drink more water if I drank anything that wasn't either sugar-free or diet. Now, even though my dad supported OB, he didn't say much, and I have no idea why she even brought him up. Anyways, that's my tale. I've lived with them for 4 years until I've saved enough to move out in 2015. After that, some things have happened that led me to cut all contact with the three of them. Stay safe out there. I dare say OP is the black sheep, and the older brother the golden child. So when OP lost the weight, got fit, and was doing well, while the older brother got fat and smoked a lot, the mother couldn't stand how her world had gone crazy. So in her insane mind, she decided making OP fat again would be the solution. And he would have to be fatter than his brother, so he could take the mantle of the fattest in the family again. My parents had a policy of giving I or my sister a small gift on our sibling's birthday. This was mainly started because on a birthday I had when my sister was 4 or so, she threw a huge tantrum because not one gift was for her. On my birthday, my sister often got a small, inexpensive gift of a doll or stuffed toy. It was mainly just to keep her placated when she wasn't the center of attention. And to keep it fair, on her birthdays, I typically got something small as well. Usually something like a squirt gun or toy car. I always thought of these as pity gifts, but always took them with gratitude. On my sister's 8th birthday, though, she picked that time to have a huge tantrum over the pity gift I got. After my sister got her cake and opened her presents, my dad handed me a small red bag with 5 brand new Hot Wheel cars in it. I liked and still do like those toys, and they're only about $1 each, both now and then. And as a kid, I had racetracks to play with them on. My sister, though, when she saw me opening the gift, suddenly went bonkers. She thought I was opening one of her presents and screamed. My dad said it was just my little gift on her day and tried to calm her down. But evil mama backed my sister and said that perhaps it was time we stopped the pity gift thing. Dad then said that if I don't get a pity gift on my sister's birthday, then she no longer gets one on mine anymore either. Well, the second my sister heard no gift for anything, even something so minor as the pity gift thing, she went absolutely crazy. Most of what I remember is loud screaming that made me want to cover my ears, and then my dad getting a slice of cake shoved in his face by my sister when he tried to talk to her. EMB had to cradle her to calm her down. Then she directed her ire at me. But Dad, while wiping the cake from his face, said I did absolutely nothing wrong. Hell, I didn't even really talk when that all went down. So EMB just let it go. She tried shooting a dirty glare at me a couple times, but Dad saw her and gave her a look that said, "Don't you dare try and pin the blame on Craigle for this." And she'd sink in her seat a little. My sister, on the other hand, was adamant I'd ruined her party somehow. Rather than try and say something in my defense, I just shook my Hot Wheels cars and walked out of the room for a few minutes, which I think was the smart move because when I came back, everybody was acting like it never happened. My sister maintained for months that I'd ruined her birthday that year, and when I asked her how, since she got pity gifts on my birthdays too, she would brush me off and ignore me for a while. We kept doing the pity gift thing right up until the year my parents divorced and I moved in with my dad. Your sister sounds like someone to keep out of your life. I think your parents helped create it, and unfortunately, she will most likely destroy anyone in her circle.